The commonly accepted assumption somehow is that immigrant workers, let me back up, that both of you would suggest somehow that there's almost unlimited elasticity to the high end, but limited demand at the lower end educationally and in terms of the type of work, the nature of the work. I live in a highly agricultural community. We depend on migrant workers a lot. Dairy isn't part of the H-2A program. That's always been a problem. Dairy needs long-term help. You mentioned that it isn't true, Dr. Kamara, that the work that's available is work that Americans don't want. And you mentioned 472 civilian-type jobs, and then you move on to say there are only 6. See, I mean, that doesn't confirm anything as I understand it. I wonder if you could, without an opinion from me about it, I wonder if you could elaborate.
Sure. What you're pointing to is this idea, look, in fact, just about every job you care to name in America, the majority of workers are U.S. born, whether it's construction labor, whether it's nannies, maids, busboys. In some cases, you know, 3/4 of janitors or something like that are U.S. born. And so that may not comport, but you have to remember that in the cities it's different than in the countryside, and it's very different in downstate New York than in upstate New York. So that's part of what you're seeing there. But what that does tell us is the idea that there are jobs Americans don't do, of course, is foolish and silly. So 2/3 of people who work in meat and poultry processing are U.S. born. So obviously that's a job Americans do, and it doesn't make sense. The other question that this sort of relates to is the precipitous decline in wages in that sector. Meat and poultry processing, while still majority U.S. born, real wages have declined 45% in that sector since 1980. Those same employers then come before this Congress and say, gosh, we can't find anybody to cut up dead animals, because it is nasty work, we all agree. But maybe because they pay half what they used to. One of the things I would make the case is, since Americans do most of this work, and we have all these unskilled Americans who are now not working, sort of at a record level, let's try to get them back into the labor market. Bringing in new immigrant workers would benefit the immigrants, and some of those workers are probably very good workers. But this huge growth in non-work among our young and less educated has huge sociological implications. Just briefly, if you don't work when you're young, the chance that you'll work as you get older goes way down and you make less, and that's especially true for those who don't go to college, which is about half of our kids.
Thank you. I yield back.